Hey everybody, you got the Hobby Drifter here again. I'm a toy collector. I live in Japan. Perfect, right? Yeah. Yeah, for the most part. It's pretty good. We got, your figure arts and your Soul of Chogokin, Masterpiece Transformers, all that good stuff. Just wonderful. However, there are some things that are either not released in Japan at all, or not released until later, or released in a different format that I feel like I would really like to have in my personal collection. And sometimes it's really hard to get that stuff shipped over here. I have personally tried to be as helpful as possible with helping my friends and fellow fans to import stuff from Japan to the US, to England, Canada, one guy in South Africa, a bunch of people in Australia. I don't mind when my friends or friends of friends ask me, "Oh, hey, I'm looking for this thing. Can you send me one?" And if I can, save you some money, or I can find you, the thing that you need for, as little headache as possible, I'm usually pretty good about that. I don't like to lose money on the deal, but if I can help my friends out, I usually do it. And thankfully, I've got a bunch of friends in the U.S. mostly, in Canada, UK, who have helped me out over the years. But for the most part, it's really difficult to get certain stuff over here. And I'm happy to say it is getting better. But I got 5 items here that I just want to talk about. The odyssey that it was getting these things from the U.S. into my humble apartment in Tokyo, Japan. So here is the first one that I want to mention. It is the Legacy Power Morpher, and it was released for the 20th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I needed this thing. I have very rarely felt any kind of like I've got to have this type feeling for toys, especially non-figure toys. I mean, this is not usually the kind of thing that I would buy or display. I'm usually a figure or robot guy, but this was something that I had wanted as a child and couldn't get. It was the early days of Power Rangers. Everything sold out immediately. I was not born into a nerd household. We did not go toy hunting. If you would go to Walmart to get groceries and socks, and then check out the toy aisle, and of course there's nothing there. So I never had one, and frankly, the version that was released in 92, 93 wasn't very good. It was basically made upside down. The sticker didn't have the correct logo on it. And it came with a gun. I didn't want the gun. But this thing is slightly upscaled, so it's made for adult hands. Tons of die-cast metal. The sound effects are great. It comes with like the belt clip. All of the coins are included, and again, nice die-cast metal. I needed this. I felt like I could put something in me to bed just by finally like knocking this off my list. Like I could exercise the ghost of childhood missed opportunities by getting this. But wow, it was not easy to find one of these things. There were dozens of them on eBay, of course, for markup prices. I mean, it was a Toys R Us exclusive, so people would buy them and resell them. And that's fine. That's cool. Ideally, don't buy up the entire stock and do it, but hey, it's fine. But no one would ship to me. Just, either U.S. shipping only, North American shipping only. Some of them would have the thing that said, "Oh, contact us for shipping rates." And hey, I'm in. At the time, I was in Fukuoka. I was like, "Hey, will you ship to Fukuoka, Japan?" And no, nobody would. And as this kept mounting, as I couldn't get this thing, and it kept like, "Oh my God, there's nothing I can do to get one of these." Finally, like I was willing to pay irresponsible money to be able to add this to my collection. I mean, I was offering the people who would say contact me for shipping, and then they would come back and say, "No, we don't want to ship to Japan. The shipping label's complicated or whatever." And I was like, I will pay you double what you want. I will pay you, a ton of extra money for shipping. I will, even if the shipping label is that big a problem for you, I will mail you a shipping label. And nope, no takers. No, offered $200 or whatever for this thing, and no, don't feel like shipping to Japan. Finally, I was on Ranger board, and I realized, okay, I can't spend money to get this, but maybe I could offer a trade. So I'm in Kyushu. I'm in Fukuoka. It's 2013. There are like 15 different secondhand toy and book resellers, toys, books, games, whatever, within easy access to my place. I'm like, I will make your dreams come true if you will sell one of these to me. Like, go ahead, throw out any insane trade you want, and I will try to make that happen. Because I could. I had a mandarake very close, book off super bazaars, book circuses, stuff like that, all nearby. And hey, maybe the guy wants, the friggin' dragon buckler. Wouldn't do that. I mean, that I wouldn't do that. But I would go above and beyond to make a trade. And someone finally hit me up. They said, how about I trade you the Legacy Power Morpher for all of the Gokaiger roleplay stuff. So the belt, the changer, the big ass galleon buster, the gun, and the sword. Wanted all of that in exchange for the Power Morpher. And I said, yeah, done. No problem. He specified that he didn't care about the boxes. He's like, yeah, I don't need the boxes. I just want them complete. So I'm like, done. No problem. I'll go out and I'll grab them now. Bring them back. You go out and find the Morpher. He's like, oh, I've got one. I've got a spare one. I'll trade you. Great. Went out to, I had to go to 3 different stores, but got it all. And I don't know if this is still true. I suspect it probably is. But there's a sweet spot for buying Sentai stuff for low prices. And unsurprisingly, it's generally like the first 3 to 6 months of the new series. So once Gokaiger ended, Ghostbusters began. And suddenly everyone wanted to buy Ghostbusters stuff and didn't really want the Gokaiger stuff. So I picked up everything he wanted for about $50. And I shipped it to him for probably about $80 because it was a lot of stuff. And I got it. I got my Legacy Power Morpher. And it took an incredible amount of time and effort and stress, but I got it. And I'm very happy about that. But then, a few months later, they announced that there was going to be a Green Ranger and White Ranger Power Morpher. And it would be like gold-plated. It would be exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con. And the only way to get this exclusive thing was to A, go to San Diego Comic-Con, and B, be one of the lucky few able to buy the thing. That was not going to happen. At the time, I was still in Kyushu when that came out. Obviously, secondary market was absurd. Like, no, I'm not doing that. But it really, that was the first time that the exclusive stuff really started to bother me, because I'm in my mid-30s. I don't like the thrill of the hunt. I just want the stuff that I want. I don't even mind so much now paying, how much new collectibles cost. I just want to pay the money, get the thing, and put it on my shelf. And all this stuff where you have to be at a specific place at a specific time, and you have to, enter into a lottery or whatever to get the stuff is, I literally do not have the time or energy for that. So I just kind of chalked that up to not going to happen. Then, a little while after that, yay, it did come out as a regular Toys R Us exclusive without the shiny gold, which I'm kind of happy about that. I like the show accuracy, so shiny gold kind of takes away from it. Anyway, knowing what I had to go through to get the first one, I had kind of resigned myself to having to do something similar with this one. But this time, it was online friend, one of the hosts of the Fanholes podcast, said, I'll trade you one for a couple of Ultraman Figuarts figures, which fairly easy to get. I think, I can't remember if I found them at a secondhand store or if I just ordered them online. But wound up getting this thing into my collection for probably less than $100 after shipping and buying the figures are concerned. Good deal, right? So now I've got both Power Morphers, I got coins, even got the Tiger coin, which is nice, and that has since not gotten any kind of release here in Japan. So very happy to have these, and it was getting easier, right? So had to go through hell to get the Legacy Power Morpher, had to go to the store to get the green and white one, and then we move on to see what these things, Power Rangers versus Super Sentai, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Zyudanger. There are subtle differences, but I mean, both of these would wind up seeing a release eventually here with the Zyudanger branding and higher quality coins. But some stuff just doesn't come out in basically any form. Like, these. So a thing about how I collect. I'm married, I got 2 cats that like to knock stuff over, and I live in a modest place in Tokyo, Japan. So even if I wanted to collect everything, space would not allow it. I don't like to buy stuff and then store it away. My general rule is if I can't display something, I don't buy it. That keeps me from being a, for lack of a better word, hoarder. I know I've got a bunch of friends who like to collect tons of stuff, and they don't mind, storing it away and then going through and, oh, look, I forgot I had this. But that would frankly be irresponsible for the amount of space that I have here. So my collecting goal is basically a really nice version of the main character or main characters in series that I loved from the 80s and 90s. So for a lot of that stuff, Japan's the place to be. We've got the masterpiece Transformers, Soul of Chogokin, SH Figuarts, Mafex, things like that. And especially recently, Mafex and Figuarts are kind of branching out to make figures from non-Japanese properties. I mean, Star Wars, RoboCop, which was a huge one for me. I wanted a nice RoboCop figure forever. But never Ghostbusters. And I love Ghostbusters. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. I've bought it in, I think, every format possible except for Betamax. And I had never had a set of Ghostbusters movie figures. I had the real Ghostbusters from the 80s, but the Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, like those guys. I had Ernie Hudson, of course, the late great Harold Ramis. I'd never had a set of these. They were released by Matty Collector at a time before I was really collecting stuff like this, and I totally missed out on. But then they were released again in the single packs, like black box packs, with the Build a No Ghost logo thing. And had to have these. I mean, it's Ghostbusters. It was like the first thing that I was into. Like, it was, that there were a bunch of TV shows on when in the 80s, and Ghostbusters was the first one. I was like, ooh, I like this. I want to make sure I keep watching this. Saw the movie and that was it. It was like, oh, this is the peak of everything. So had another chance to get these, and I'm very happy to say that the way I got these was my friend Dustin on Twitter just sent me a message. Hey, I'm at Walmart or Target. They have all four. Do you want me to grab them for you? And yes, please and thank you. So yeah, and yeah, he picked them up, filled out the shipping label, charged me just the amount of, like, only the amount the figures cost and shipping. Boom. And I know they have released a couple of subsequent Ghostbusters, like 1/12-ish scale figures since then. But these are fine. And the sentimental value, because my buddy sent them to me. And same deal with Scrooge here. Scrooge is not unknown in Japan. In fact, there's a bunch of exclusive Scrooge stuff that's come out here, but he's not popular, like, at all. We've got the new DuckTales series here, dubbed in Japanese, and it's great. But yeah, not a popular character. So again, same thing, same guy, Dustin. I'm at Walmart. They got Scrooge. You want me to send him to you? Yes, thank you. Then there's one other thing that I've had shipped here, and that is this. This is, of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Comic-Con set from NECA. I had exactly three thoughts when this was announced. Oh my god, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I need that. And I am never going to own this. Because same deal. Go to San Diego Comic-Con. Like, I can't even get to... I couldn't get tickets to San Diego Comic-Con if I tried. I'm just like, okay, this is never going to happen. Maybe I could score a set on eBay, and I was looking at like what online retailers were charging for the set, and it was more than I could justify. I mean, I think the most expensive like non-Transformer single action figure I've ever bought was the Mafex RoboCop, and it was like 8,000 yen, so like $70. And even that like ticked all the boxes, beautiful, perfect size, blah blah blah. Even that was like, oh my god, it's $70 for a an action figure. And I want to say like online retailers and eBay were asking close to 400 for this set, which was $100 a turtle. And I was like, well, no, I'm never gonna own this thing, or at least not while it's popular. Then I get a message from my friends Vani and Ian. Again, some great Twitter friends. Said, hey, we're going to Comic-Con. We're picking up stuff for some friends. Did you want us to try to get you the turtle set? And I was like, oh my god, yes, please, thank you. And it was like so nice of them. They went to the show, they waited in line, got the ticket, bought the thing, and I think like they were at San Diego Comic-Con probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and within 2 weeks of the con, I had this here in my apartment in Tokyo. By all means, they could have asked me for like the premium or finder's fee, and I would have been happy to pay it. But they're like, no, you're cool. And so Vani and Ian, thanks again for that. They've got a place of honor on my permanent collection shelf. I mean, this is it for turtles. Like there's never going to be anything better than this. It would be impossible. Look at this picture. I thought that was a photo of the turtles from the movie, but no, that's the actual toys. Just unbelievably nice set, and I'm very grateful to the people who helped me add it to my collection. And I always endeavor to pay it forward to my other friends who might need stuff from Japan. So anyway, yeah, that's my look at some of the very few figures that I've imported from other countries to Japan for my collection shelves. There was one thing that came before all of these, and I just want to tell that story real quick. It was my very first Christmas in Japan, also my first Christmas as a full-time worker. I was living in my tiny little apartment and saving my money like a good boy. And got to Christmas, and I wanted to do something nice for me. So I ordered online a set of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Megazords, Dragonzord, and Titanus. I'd never owned Dragonzord before. I'd never owned Titanus. And I had a back and forth with a guy on eBay who refused to ship to Japan, but I got him to ship to my parents' place in Chicago, and they were kind enough to forward it to me at great expense. I mean, imagine those three. And that was my Christmas morning was opening up the original mint and sealed box, by the way, Power Ranger figures back in 2008. And yeah, so after I did that, I was like, oh wow, I finally crossed this off the list. The only thing, left is the Power Morpher. And yeah, it's kind of nice that I had a very similar, it's like, why can't I get this shipped over here experience with that? So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I have been the Hobby Drifter. Stay safe. We're still undergoing quarantine, and hopefully that will let up sometime before the end of linear time. Thanks again for joining me, as I've said before, and happy hobbying.